Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, the award-winning gardening podcast as voted for by the Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and by my listeners. I hope that you have all clicked that subscribe button. If you're new to the podcast channel, please do click the subscribe button and then you get notified of all the new podcasts that get launched. And if you're not following me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, make sure you look for Gardening with Ben and follow me on all my social medias. So sit back, relax, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's gardening podcast with Ben. Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben for a brand new episode here on this Saturday morning. And yes, I am at work, so this is being pre-recorded, ready for you to listen to today. And I hope you've been enjoying all the podcasts. We've certainly been recording a few for you recently on this miserable day that I've been recording them on the Tuesday. I thought, why not? Don't waste a day. Let's get some content out there for everybody to listen to. So yeah, I've been recording a few episodes for you to listen to. And obviously we've got his YouTube videos up as well, so if you've not checked them out, have a look at them on my YouTube channel, Gardening with Ben, and make sure you subscribe to it as well, because there's going to be lots of videos coming this year for you all to watch. That's one of my main focus this year, to get my YouTube channel up and working and get lots of videos on there for you to watch and enjoy, hopefully. So yeah, let's start with today's podcast. So today's podcast, we're going to be talking all about continuing really from yesterday's podcast. Yesterday's podcast was talking about planning your allotment. Well, the main thing what you need to do is plan what you want to grow as well. So we're going to be talking about planning for this year's growing season. Obviously, if you're new to allotments and you've got a new allotment, you'll obviously want to plan it out from scratch, like what fruit trees you want to grow, what fruit bushes you want on it, and stuff like that. Obviously, you can keep adding to it as the years go on and getting more and more stuff on there. But obviously, when you're planting your fruit trees and your fruit bushes, they're going to be there forever unless you get rid of them totally. So you need to really think about where you want to grow them, and if not, you may regret planting them in that spot in the first place, which some of the stuff that I've planted I possibly do regret, but I've worked my plot round them now. They're in a good place and they get lots and lots of produce on them. But obviously one of the main things you want to think about as well is what seeds you want to grow. And obviously if you're thinking about growing fruit trees and fruit bushes, now is the time to be planting them in the January wet season. So have a look in garden centres, look in the supermarkets for fruit bushes. I've not seen them being brought out in the supermarkets yet, fruit trees, so keep your eyes peeled for them and you might get some good bargains. Last year when they were selling off the fruit trees, I managed to get 2 Victoria plum trees at £1.50 each. Yes, £1.50 each, and the trees were still alive. I made sure that they were definitely still alive, and I planted them possibly early springtime, end springtime, and they are growing now on the plot. They are looking like they've taken, so I'm really pleased with how well they've taken such a cheap cost as well. And fruit, obviously planting fruit pays you back in dividends. The amount of fruit that you'll get off your fruit trees and fruit bushes will pay you for your allotment totally. Whereas if you're going to be growing vegetables, yes, it can work out expensive in the long run, but it does taste fresher and healthier and more delicious. And obviously you might get a bit of protein in there if you get a few slugs in there hidden away. But yes, it's definitely a lot tastier, and I wouldn't recommend anything else than growing your own vegetables. So what you need to start doing is you need to start making a list of what vegetables you want to grow this year. And that can be quite tricky because obviously you've only got a certain amount of space, and you need to think about where it can be grown and how it can be grown, and if it's got the right lighting as well, because you don't obviously want to grow stuff in a shady spot and it not grow well, or it might not produce well. And obviously you've got to think about if your soil needs improving with manure and stuff like that. It's all got to be factored in. Now, I've never added any extra manure to my plot, and I really need to start doing that. So that might be one thing that I start doing this year, is adding some extra manure into my beds. So we'll have to have a look around and see if we can get some, because I can't really get any in my car. Obviously, there's places that do deliver, but it's a pain getting it onto my plot, so I might just end up having to buy bags of it and just digging it into the beds like that. But we'll see, we'll see. So we need to think about what vegetables we want to grow this year, and the best place to look for vegetable seeds is obviously either in a garden centre, in a DIY store. Obviously I can't mention the names, and obviously well, I can actually. Obviously, there's other hardware shops that you can look in as well. And another way to do it is have a look online. There's plenty of garden retailers out there, and they'll often send you a catalogue where you can have a look at the seeds and see what you're thinking about growing. And that's the way that I tend to do stuff. I like to try something new every single year, even if it doesn't grow well or doesn't grow whatsoever. If it's rubbish, I'll still give it a try, and I'll possibly try it a few years after as well. Keep trying until it grows, until I get something off it. But yeah, I definitely like to try and experiment in growing new stuff. Last year I focused on growing lots of different squashes, and I had some really good ones. Different varieties, different colours, different sizes. It was all fantastic, and they all tasted absolutely delicious. So I'm probably going to grow quite a few squashes again this year, because I had a good success last year. And one thing that I want to try this year is, I'm wanting feedback from you if any of you out there have tried growing them. I want to try growing white strawberries. Yes, white strawberries. They're white and they've got red seeds. Now these are meant to have a pineapple aftertaste to them, and I want to know if they do actually have a pineapple aftertaste and what they actually taste like, and if they have a good cropping from them, and as well if they send out runners as well, because then I'll get free plants from them. Now obviously they're not cheap to buy, so I want to make sure that I've got plants that can produce more plants and create a bigger crop of them, really, as I want to try something new. I do like trying different stuff to try on my allotment. Like last year, I planted so many different types of fruit down there. I planted my blackberries, which are thornless, so that I don't have to suffer with all the thorns and everything like that. I planted my 2 new Victoria plum trees, which won't produce fruit for a few years yet. What else did we plant? I planted a loganberry. I planted some gold raspberries. They didn't produce many last year. Hopefully we'll get some more this year. But yeah, I've added so much more extra onto the plot last year. And I'm wanting to continue to add some more plants in them. And obviously strawberries will keep growing year after year, so I'll get produce year after year from them. So I'll get my monies back. Obviously I like plants that do keep producing year after year, and you're getting a good money back from your expenditure, because obviously you don't want to buy a plant that'll just die that year, which obviously vegetables, once you've grown them, they've gone. So obviously, but them seeds are pretty cheap to buy anyway, so you're pretty alright with them. But yeah, I want more and more stuff that will come back year after year and that I don't have to mess around with. Now I've still got plenty of space to stick them all in. I will find space, and it's just making use of all the space to grow them in. So I'm hoping to grow them. I'll need to be ordering them pretty soon, because we need to get them in at least February, March time, ready for this year. So I want to try them this year. We're going to be trying the different varieties of squash again. Now I might try some different varieties of beans. There's lots of different varieties of beans out there, different colours, different sizes, different shapes of beans. So we might try some of those. And yeah, I'm thinking of, I did well with my pumpkin. My pumpkin did really well last year, so I'm hoping to grow a couple more pumpkin plants this year. Now that I've mastered on how well to grow a pumpkin, now hopefully we can get a bigger one for next year. It didn't take a lot of effort, but we had to protect it from rotting on the ground, putting a slate under the pumpkin and stuff like that, and I fed it on a weekly basis like you meant to. So hopefully we can really get a good pumpkin growing this year down at the plot, and we can outweigh it from last year and give it to the pub again to make me some pumpkin soup. But we'll see how we get on this year. And what else have we, what we could try growing this year? Obviously I've got all my sunflowers did fantastic. One year I just tried growing different varieties of sunflowers. They were absolutely beautiful, so I've stuck to doing that now. I order a mixed bag of sunflower seeds, and they're amazing, absolutely amazing. And one year I tried growing a different variety of cauliflower. I grew purple cauliflowers. If you've not seen the purple cauliflower, I tried growing them. They grew absolutely fantastic, so I've stuck to growing them. And sometimes it's good to try these weird and wonderful things, because they're sometimes a lot better than the originals. Like white ones, I struggle to grow, I struggle to get a good crop from, but the purple ones, I get a fantastic crop from them. I do absolutely fantastic from them. So yeah, we do really well with all that. So I might actually, as well, thinking about it, I might look into carrots this year as being my experiment. I've been trying to grow them for 16 years, absolutely failed every single year. They're absolutely pathetic. I've done really rubbish. I can't give any tips and advice on growing carrots whatsoever to any of you, because I've done such a rubbish job. But I might look into seeing how to grow carrots and seeing if we can get some good carrots. And there's plenty of varieties out there, and there's multicoloured ones as well. So I might try growing the multicoloured ones. You never know, the multicoloured ones might actually grow compared to the normal orange carrots. But we'll see how we get on. And hopefully we can get some good produce from the plot this year. Oh, and one thing that I do want to try as well, what I've seen, are different varieties of cucumbers. There's ones called lemon cucumbers. They're not lemon flavoured whatsoever, so don't think that they're lemon flavoured cucumbers, because they're not. They do look like lemons though, but yeah, they absolutely look fantastic, and they taste a bit more sweeter than the green ones as well apparently, so I'm going to try and grow them. Now I would never grow cucamelons because they taste disgusting. But some people out there might like them, but I don't, and that's my honest truth. I don't like the cucamelons, so I won't be growing them ever. Somebody once let me try theirs and they tasted horrible, so I will never grow them. It's a bit like celery, even though I am growing celery this year and I don't like the stuff, but you never know, I might actually like the celery that I've actually grown myself. So we've got that, and also I want to try, what was it? Sun gold tomatoes. I want to try and grow some sun gold tomatoes. My dad grew some of those outside last year, and they did fantastic. They did really, really well, and they tasted absolutely delicious. Nicest tomatoes that I have ever tried. And last year was obviously a hot year. We got up to 40 degrees in the UK in temperature. And we obviously had the droughts and the stuff like that. But I'm thinking about growing tomatoes outside. I know I've got my polytunnel and I've got my massive polytunnel, but the thing I struggle with is that if I'm working 4 days, I don't get time to go down to the allotment because I'm working. I work 7 till 7, and I don't really want to go before or after because I won't have time, and I don't like going down at night on my own. So I might actually grow some outside and look at ways of keeping them hydrated outside, whether it be with a bottle of water with a hole drilled in it so that it just keeps dripping every so often. But we'll have a look into that. But definitely I am tempted in growing some tomatoes outside, and sun gold variety my dad did absolutely fantastic with. So if you've grown them in the past, let me know if you managed to grow them outside well, and we'll give them a go. We'll give them a try this year. I really want some nice tomatoes. I didn't really do anything with my tomatoes last year. I didn't grow any. I don't think I grew any tomatoes last year. I just grew cucumbers, and they did really well. But we didn't do any tomatoes. So I'm going to bring the tomatoes back next year. We're going to have tomato plants on my plot. Not next year, this year. I'm doing it again. I'm losing track of days. So we're going to grow some tomatoes next year. This year, sorry. I should really edit it out. I don't edit my podcasts out, so it's staying in. We are going to grow some tomatoes this year, so I might have a look at different varieties of tomatoes. There's even black tomatoes as well, which are like dark red but black. We might have a look at trying to grow some of those, but like I said, we'll look at growing them outside rather than in the polytunnel because it's keeping them watered. But we'll have a go. We'll see what we can do. And I might actually grow my melons outside as well this year, rather than in the polytunnel, because they didn't grow very well in the polytunnel. Again, they kept drying out too fast. Whereas if they're outside and you're planting them through black membrane, the black membrane will keep the soil nice and moist because it won't dry out as fast. So I might try growing melons outside this year. I should really end this podcast now because it's not going well whatsoever. But I hope you're all finding it funny. And that's the thing I like doing about these podcasts. It's raw, it's not edited, and it's all just straight from the mouth. I just continue talking for however long it lasts for. People seem to enjoy it. They enjoy my waffling on. So thank you for listening to today's podcast. And please do check out my YouTube channel called Gardening with Ben. Lots of videos going to be appearing on there. Please do subscribe to it, and then you'll get notified when new videos come up. As obviously sharing videos on Facebook, they get lost in the feed and stuff like that, and it's always hard to find them. So everything's stored together nice and easily on my YouTube channel for you to watch. And yeah, if you're new to this podcast, I hope you've enjoyed it. Do click that follow button, do click that subscribe button. Until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts. Thank you for listening to today's Gardening with Ben's podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do click that subscribe button, and feel free to share it as well on your Instagram stories. All you have to do if you're listening on Spotify is click the share button, and you can share it straight to your Instagram story for all your followers to listen to and help build my listeners up as well and get more people listening to it. Feel free to check out all my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Go check it out. Check out my dancing. Gardening with Ben. And check out the link as well in the description of this podcast, where you can check out my gardening t-shirt shop, where I sell funny t-shirts with all different funny logos and designs on. And feel free to support me by purchasing one, and all the money obviously goes back into my allotment, where I can share more gardening tips with you all. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcast.